we can call it this A, then we can say this is B. Requirements. If you want to go into fish farming at all, you should have these requirements. You should have land or an area where you are going to carry out the fish farming. Land or an area. Actually, that area should be on land. So we say generally we must have land where we are going to set up our fish farm. Having got land, then we must think about capital, the money we are going to inject into the fish farming project on that piece of land. The source of that money, and we must decide how much of that money that we want. Then the third thing is the labor. Because much as you may have the money, when there is no labor, when you don't have the helping hand, maybe to construct a pond, maybe to feed the fish, maybe to harvest the fish for you, and to sell the fish in the market for you. That is what we call labor. So we must have the labor to cause the production of the fish from the fish ponds. Then we must have the source of funds. Then we must have the managerial part. You must know how to manage your fish. Having said that, maybe you can go to another sector. We can say, what are the types of farmed fish in Uganda? Before you go into fish farming, you should know also the type of fish that you may want to farm, and you should have reasons why you decided on that type of fish. Generally, in Uganda, we have 3 types of fish. We have what we call tilapia. We have another one, it is called catfish. Another one is called a carp. The tilapia, the catfish are indigenous to Uganda waters. The carp is an imported species. It came into Uganda in the 60s, 50s, 60s from Israel. It is a very good fish for farming, but it has not got much popularity because few people are rearing it out. Most of the reared carp presently is consumed by our neighbors in Zaire, generally Zaire. So most of our farmed carp is taken to Zaire. There are reasons why we should go into tilapia, why we should go into catfish. Most of these reasons are similar. We usually advise our farmers to go into tilapia farming and catfish farming for these reasons. Why tilapia or catfish? First reason, we are looking at tilapia in the pond now. it is a fish which can be handled in a pond easily. So it is a simple fish which can be farmed. It is a simple fish. It is a versatile fish, actually, versatile. And this also implies to catfish. It is palatable, palatable. It is sweet to taste. Most of our people here like tilapia or catfish. Third, the market. The market for this fish is readily available both here in Uganda and also as a regional market species. Another reason is okay, we have seen the market. It is palatable. It is a simple fish. It tolerates. It allows severe conditions. It tolerates them in the pond. Maybe like low oxygen contents. Low oxygen contents, the fish grows, though it reduces its growth rate. Bad soils, the fish grows, but it reduces its growth. Feeding, when you don't feed them well, they will not die. They will continue to live, but they will reduce on their growth rate. So much that you spend more. You spend more for a long period of time to get what you want from them if you did not feed them well. So they are adaptable to our severe conditions. Those are the reasons why we go into tilapia and catfish farming. Another important one is they consume our locally available foods. They consume locally available feeds. So we can avoid the expensive feeds and feed our fish on locally produced feeds. After that, maybe you can go on. We can go on the types of ponds. After having decided on what type of fish you want, why do you want it, we go and see the type of ponds where you can grow this fish. There are mainly two types of ponds. Actually, there are three types. These are the square ponds. Two rectangular ponds. And three, they are what we call circular ponds. We can carry out farming of tilapia, catfish, and mirror carp, and other types of fish in these types of ponds. When the pond is square, it means it could be 10 meters here, 10 meters here, 10 here, and 10 here. This is square. If it is rectangular, it can be 10 meters here, 20 here. If it is circular, it can have a diameter of 10 meters. Okay? Those are the type of ponds. Then, having seen the types of ponds, the types of fish, and the managerial part of it, we have seen why we may want to farm those types. Now we can say, we can get a little bit further and say, if I dug a pond, maybe 10 meters to 10 by 10 by 10, how do I go about it? This requires a little bit of practical activity. But if you wanted to dig a 10-meter pond, what you would do, you would go out to the field, peg out by 10, having decided, having inspected the area, and having seen that the water there will suffice, and having decided that we shall get the inlet to the pond from this area, and the outlet we shall put it to this end, then we go about digging that pond. Before you dig the pond, before digging the pond, look at the water. The water availability. Is the water there all year around? Is the water there seasonally? Is the water going to be pumped? So we must know the source of our water. We shall come to the qualities of the water later on. But right now, we are tackling the source of the water. Because if the source of the water had some drawbacks, maybe we would have mitigations against those drawbacks. But right now, we must have the water. And having seen that we have the water, then we must know how to lay out our pond layout. We must know if the water is flowing like this, where exactly should we place our pond? This end or this end? Having this as a stream, do we place the pond here or the pond there? So we must go with an expert, an advisor, a consultant who will tell us that, please, I think according to the water flow, let us place the pond here. According to the water availability, let us place the pond here. The water may be available for 6 months. If the water was available for 6 months, it wouldn't stop us from going into fish farming. We would decide on what type of fish we would go into, which would give us a food security or a food value or an economic return within those 6 months. Okay? So All these things, you decide on them after you have visited the area. Having visited the area and having got the history of that area, then you can decide on the longevity of the rearing period.